Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very new episode of Big Data Month. Now we're in the beginning of February and we're filming this episode for the month of January. We're a little bit late. We took some short time of vacation, but we're back. Also eager to share news and share our great mood with you. So today I'm joined by two great members of Big Data Club. I'm joined by Oran and Muad,
Hello.
who are both active members and also vice president for Muad and the marketing manager for Oran in Big Data Club. Guys, thanks for being here. You can present yourself. Feel free to shine as you always do.
Oran, you want to go?
Okay. So, I'm also in the cohort of the MS Big Data at ESCP, and I'm also doing finance at Sciences Po. So my background is mostly in finance, but thankfully after the master, we'll maybe shift into tech and GAFAM, if all is great.
Thank you, Oran. What about you, Muad? Do you also?
Yes. So, as you said, my name is Moued. I'm Moroccan, and yeah, I'm with those two wonderful people in the same cohort studying big data. I come from a business background. I have a master's in international business, and yeah, really pleased to be here and happy to be here. And I know we're gonna have a great time with you guys. Thanks for having
Thank you,
us,
guys. Oh, it's my pleasure. So today, you know the drill. It's going to be all the same. We're going to start by first sharing the big data news for the month of January. We're going to discuss just arbitrary picked news that amused us the most. We're going to share what we think of it. We're going to discuss one news each this time. And then we're going to pass for our usual section, the job of the month, where we're going to discuss a job in a data-related field. And we're going to see what are the requirements, what are the salaries, and what would you expect when joining a company in this position. So first, let's start with the news. Who would wish to start? The first news of the month is always easy. You just share what you got. You say what you liked about it or not, why you thought it was interesting. So whoever is free and the most eager to start. My news is a little sad. That's why I don't want to start with it right like at first.
You know what? Let's take the bad news first. You can go ahead, please.
Oh, well, great. Okay, thanks, Muad. We're starting with bad news this time. I mean, it's not bad news as such, but you'll see what I'm getting at. So this news comes from Foxconn. I bet you all know Foxconn from many news articles. Well, Oran, you're in for a not so pleasant surprise, I suppose. I don't know, Muad, if you know what Foxconn is.
Yeah, no, I had some headlines, but not into details.
Well, Foxconn is, I think an infamously known factory. It is a factory, honestly, in China, and not only. It's more of a system of factories with their own knowledge and stuff. But they're known for having huge factories in high-tech industry. They're the ones who are making all the iPhones. They're the ones who are making Samsung right next door in the same factory. LG also, and many other phones. They're the giant manufacturer behind many of the smartphones you and I have, probably, and many other people all over the world. So I'm telling you this because they've been known for bad conditions in the workplace. The workers were of course I've never been there. I can only back up my information, but what I've read from different news outlets. You're free to Google if you're curious. But in summary, the workspace is bad. People are cramped up in small spaces where they have to live and pretty much sleep at the job. They work very long hours for a very minimal pay, and they are the ones who installed, the safety nets around their buildings, around their factories, because people would commit suicide by jumping off the ledges, and those nets are there to prevent the bad things from happening. So as you can see already, it's a bad mood that this factory sets up, because it has such a bad connotation for me. Again, not an expert, but from what I've read. And suddenly I've seen their name again in the news, but in a more positive light. They have, in January, towards the end of January, presented a new algorithm that is actually an unsupervised algorithm that is here to bring precision to their operations. It is here to to scan pretty much the workflow of the factory, let's say the screen installation process, and it helps improve the quality of error detection. So it's here to tell you right away if something is going wrong, so you can stop the production without losing too much costs associated with it. And of course, it's great news. Algorithms are getting better, the production is getting more efficient, but still, what surprised me and disappointed me a little bit is that at the same time we can see those kind of news with great breakthrough algorithms being implemented in the factories, and at the same time we hear news about how workers have to work overnight to complete the quotas in bad conditions. So that's the double sentiment I have of this article. At this one side there is great innovation, and at the same time we're dragging on all those bad human resource practices. So yeah, that's the mixed feeling I got. I don't know what you think, but for me, like, just having those two things coexist in the same very factory is frightening and scary. And I want to ask myself, all those algorithms, we invent them, that's cool, but what about the people who work there? Don't we want to spend some time working on improving their conditions, or at least, I don't know, making something better for them? Because undeniably what they do is very important, because we all have smartphones, we all have PCs that probably were fabricated right there at this very time we speak. But yeah, to what extent can we hope that the conditions of people might be improved in the nearest future? Does it depend on us? What can we do to do it? What do you think, guys, in general? I dumped all this info on you. What are your feelings? I think none of that is a surprise to you. It didn't come as a great revelation, but still, what is your opinion on that?
I think that's crazy. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, on. Just go ahead, please. Please.
I think that's crazy that they decided to put money on elaborating an algorithm to improve production when they had like workers that have bad conditions. And even if you just like help them or improve their conditions, they will do better. If you're a very cynical person and you only care about productivity, having happy workers and safe workers and workers that doesn't want to kill themselves will help the business. But they decided to put money on the algorithm. So I think it's crazy, and I don't know how we can improve that, because in the end, I think in these countries, unfortunately, the cost of labor will always be cheaper than having like good conditions of work. So how can you do that? How can we redistribute the price of a product to a more fair share for the workers?
Yeah. I fully agree. I totally agree. And honestly, like from my perspective, if I had to share my feeling about this, to me, it's like insanely hypocrite from Foxconn. They could invest a chunk of what they invested in the new system that they implemented in order to prevent having accidents happening, or like try to enhance the quality of work of those people. Now, it's super bad, because it's like Maslow's pyramid, when you need something very basic, and these workers, they don't have like the basic rights of a worker. But now it's even more pressure, because they are being monitored by an AI, whatever. They are getting, like, their work is scrutinized, although they don't have optimal workspace. That's just insane. That's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is that. I also tend to agree with what you say on every point, because I hope that that's true, that by improving the conditions of like baseline workers, we can improve the overall productivity. But then something in the back of my head makes me want to say, well, they're also businessmen. I bet they did their calculations, and there's a reason why they decided to invest in the algorithm rather than improving the conditions of the workers. Is it because the cost of labor and the value of labor is so very much neglected by the people who decide that it doesn't matter whether the today's workers are going to be good? Worst case, we're going to have new ones next month. They're going to work for the next shift. Or are they just investing in the algorithm because they want those headlines having their name in all of the newspapers saying that they came up with a great algorithm? Well, I don't know. And us as the consumers, do we actually have a say in this? can we like pretend to say that we're not content with conditions of workers in another country? Like, of course, as a human, I feel bad for that, but like, what us as a consumers we can do? We can't just stop buying all the tech. Well, we can try, but that's going to be difficult avoiding the major manufacturers.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
If all the data is in Apple Cloud, how can you do it? Like, are you supposed to buy an ethical computer, phone, and transfer the data? You can't transfer your data, so how can you put pressure? It's a good question, Alexander. I have no idea because they have the pressure. We have not a lot of say. I think.
Yeah, and like it's like independently from this scenario, from this company, doing business, like we accept some things that happen in the world of business, we close our eyes on it. It's like quite hypocrite from coming from us, but do we have a choice? That's the thing. You can never lobby against like on an individual level. You can never lobby against a company. You can go for other phones like Fairphone or others that have like that are more eco-friendly, that value lives of people that work for them, but it can never be scalable to the point where it's going to put pressure on giants like Apple or Samsung or whatever. So do we have a saying? I don't know, but it just seems indecent. Like it's the indecency of it is insane because you don't have basic things. Now it's like you're turning the humans that you pay in misery into robots that whose performance is tracked on a continuous basis. You know what I mean? It's like stripping away the human side of those people. You know what I mean? Like they become just tools. And now even what makes them human, which is the margin of error, it is minimized to the maximum because they are being scrutinized and their performance is being tracked. So, but is there anything we can do?
Well, I can also say that it is hypocrite from all the members of this exchange, from the companies that can help but emphasize the importance of right proper sourcing of materials, right proper way of handling their human force, to the customers who say that yes, it is important, but we both end up selling and buying those phones. And I'm not even taking into account all the ways that the materials are sourced for it. As we know, like many crucial materials for smartphones and not only are like not ethically sourced in many countries. Like in Africa, I know that many vital metals are shadily sourced. So it could be done way much better, but still it is done like that so far. And maybe that's an indication that there's still a growing big niche for ethically appropriate tech. Who knows? Well, then it has to put to test us as consumers. Are we ready to pay 2 times the price of iPhone to get the same iPhone, but knowing that it was made by people who were paid with dignity and kept in good conditions and sourced from normal material sourcing facilities? I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope we can.
I think there can be 2 approaches here. Just about the whole like double the price and everything. There's a brand I just found out about a couple of days ago. It's called Fairphone, and I checked the price of it. I was because they do like small circuits for their materials. They are sourced locally, and it's fair trade. And I was expecting the prices to be at least 800 euros for a phone. It's around 300, 400. You know, it's affordable, and it's even called Fairphone. Like marketing, like it says a lot. Only the name. There's also the whole trend of buck market, which thanks to them again for talking to us a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like the whole concept of refurbishing, buying old phones. You take your phone, instead of throwing it away and buying a new one, you just inject it back in the market, and it's going to get refurbished and sold again at a good amount, like good price. So it's like it slows down the market and like the whole frenzy in the tech market. And maybe I know the impact is not insane. It's not going to change those people's life, but it's still a good thing to do. I think it can be a good solution to like limit the impact of the tech industry.
Yeah, it's also our job as consumers to vote with our money for the solutions we find appropriate. Of course, it's not going to change right away, but hopefully together, little by little, we can make it better.
Yeah, because if we are all like looking out at every student of our master, I think we are all very interested in that subject, and we are always thinking about that. So I think as we will mostly all work in that kind of companies, and our generation is more inclined to think about those kind of subjects, maybe we will change the things on the inside of the company. If tomorrow all the investors and all the workers are thinking about ethical ways and ethical method of productions, I think in the end we will win the fight. We will do things more ethically, and hopefully it will work. I think it will work. We can't just buy things on the back of people that are dying to produce. So let's hope progress will be.
We can hope for the best so far. Well, that's why I said that my news was a little on the dark side, but still, there's hope. There's hope, guys, and it's all in our hands as well. So please, I hope you have more joyful news than I do. Nonetheless, share it, even if it's not as joyful. Please, if you feel comfortable.
Kinda. You want me to go? Or you want to go on?
Yeah, go ahead, Maud.
Okay, I do have some notes to help me a little bit because there's a bunch of names here. But today I want to talk to you about DALL-E. I don't know if you've heard about DALL-E, but it's new.
That's also my news.
Really? Is it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool. Oh, that means it's a great news article that we're gonna you're gonna both share. Let's start the discussion. I'm curious because for me DALL-E is just a painter. So please.
You got it. But feel free to interrupt me, Oran, if there's anything to change or add or anything.
Yeah, completely.
So DALL-E it's a new AI that has been uncovered last month in January by OpenAI. For the people who don't know what OpenAI is, it's a non-profit research lab that specializes in artificial intelligence. And for the sake of name,
sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. I think you know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the sake of name dropping, the co-founder of OpenAI is Elon Musk. Okay, he left the non-profit a couple of years ago, I believe, but he's still a big contributor for them. So I'm going to read their mission. Our mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. So you get the topo, you understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to come up with the latest technologies in artificial intelligence to enhance our lives. So I'm going to do a little bit of flashback here to early 2019 when they introduced GPT-2, which is a new learning-based technique that could perform natural language processing operations like summarizing a text, completing a text, or even answering questions in text, strictly in text. In June 2020, they introduced GPT-3, which is some kind of enhancement of GPT-2. And basically, it could generate website layouts only from text, like you just input text or information or whatever, like a text query, and they would change it, like turn it into a layout for a website. And you can see the potential here. Mm-hmm. So those guys from OpenAI, they sat with themselves. They were like, why don't we take this from just text to images? So they introduced Image GPT, which basically you give it a cropped image, and then it's gonna analyze it, check in the database, and then try to estimate what pixels go where, and try to complete the pictures. And it's like the result is not like those very random results that we get from AI that we have today. It's insanely accurate. Like it's a HD, clean, and very accurate, like I said. And in January 2021, which is last month, they introduced DALL-E, which is kind of the bridge between the text query and the image generation. Okay. Basically, you just give it a query, like a text description, and it would generate an image. Not only one image, actually, 25, 20 images, something like that, like a couple of dozens. And it's not like random images, once again. It's crazy in terms of precision. I'm going to go into details further later. But just a fun fact about the name. You mentioned Salvador Dalí, and you're actually part right. DALL-E, it's a DALL-E, is a portmanteau word or mot valise between Salvador Dali, like you said, and Wally, the small, the cute little robot from the Pixar movie. Exactly. And basically, we had machine learning classes, like neural networks, how they work and everything. We used some neural networks with a couple or a bunch of parameters. DALL-E uses a 12 billion parameter neural network, which is insanely huge. Okay. I have some examples, but I would love to have any more information from Oran, and we can discuss. And then I just have a couple of examples how we can take this to the business side of the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really funny that we find like the same one.
It's insane. No, because it's interesting. It's shocking news. I just loved it. Like, I saw the pictures, crazy.
Yeah, it's great. And I found it on an article from Wired. And I found it very interesting because the headline was, do you think like an algorithm, like the same algorithm can be useful for autonomous vehicles and for producing art? I was like, oh, okay, that seems very strange. So I read the article and I found it so cool. I have not a lot of things to add. I think that the interesting point that we didn't talk about was the implication of the technology. So I heard the talk by Cassie Kozikev. I think she is the AI ethic or AI research director for Google. And she says she was very frustrated when people said that AI creates art because actually the algorithm has seen hundreds of millions of text and images, and then he generated an image based on what he learned. But it's not a creation based on inspiration or nothing. It's actually just the reproduction of little things put in a convenient way.
If I may jump in, because that's another debate. I'm sorry for interrupting, but it's a key debate. I love this debate. It doesn't have a lot to do with data, etc. But isn't art like an inspiration of other art that we've seen before? Like, is anything new? Like the matter or the way to do it can be new, but the material that we use or the inspiration or the ideas that we use, it's just I don't know. We built up ideas from ideas that are around us. It's just another debate that we can have some other day. But I don't know. I don't agree with this lady that said that.
I understand your point. Yeah, we're all actually inspired by a lot of things, but I think that what she meant was that we are inspired by so many things that we can't process them all, and we actually made a synthesis of what we were able to understand and things that we learned and all the things like memories, and then we created art. And we created art not because we wanted to sell it, things like that, but we created because it had a sense in itself. And I think AI, in that point of view, is not creating art because it has a meaning, and a human said, okay, you will see those images with those parameters, and then you will generate one thing that I will ask you to generate. So it's just putting pieces of a puzzle together. It's not creating the puzzle. I think that's the debate, but I agree there is a argumentation.
It's funny that since the very first episode of Big Data Month, we're constantly having a debate on what is art and can AI create art. I like that we're keeping this tradition alive and well because it's a thing that interests us. Yes. I agree with both of you and with the lady. I don't know exactly what art is. It's difficult to define even for the artists themselves. So as long as I enjoy it, I call it art. I don't know. I think it's my simplest and positivist point of view on all that. I don't know if you think it's correct to enjoy it, even if it's ambiguous whether it's art or not. But
I understand the two perspectives, like the perspective of Oran that says, like, I think I understand what Oran says, like, you need the human touch in it. And I'm not talking like that touch, like the empathy, the human feelings. That's something that an AI cannot have, or it can mimic, but not in a human way or humane way. That makes sense. But like from the person who perceives something, who doesn't matter who made it or what made it or how, if it conveys a message to you, it can be considered art. It's all about perspective. Like, as long as people enjoy it, that's what matters. Right?
Exactly. Yes. Well, at least that's the positivist approach. We don't know where the truth lies, but hey, we're trying to see good things in whatever comes.
Exactly. after your news. right?
Yeah. Also adding a little thing. Yeah, OpenAI is also a famous project. I know that they were the ones who kind of developed. Well, at least 2 years ago, or like 1 year ago, I think my news might be obsolete for now, but I know that they were the ones who were also invested in developing a more advanced game AI for games, for example, such as Dota 2. As far as I know, they were the first ones to develop a very good AI player, because before that it was very difficult, because this game is way more unpredictable, not like chess. Well, it has way more combinations included in the gameplay, so it was difficult for an AI to be good at it. But apparently they accomplished great things in the field, and at least for a limited amount of characters, they were able to outperform the professional human players. So here again, we lost the field to the AI. So once again, humans lost. So I can't congratulate you with that, but at least other humans created something good. So that's also an achievement.
I agree. I agree.
Go ahead, Mod. You wanted to share the examples, like some precise examples?
Yeah, just the one that really, it was the first one that I saw. If you want to Google it, Google images and type avocado chair DALL-E. It says it all. It's insane. It's 25 pictures of different shapes, different designs. It's insanely accurate. They look real. That's the thing. I think Oran will agree with me, but they look real, and it's something just generated from what DALL-E knows of an avocado, and what it knows of a chair, and it mixes them, and it's not. You saw it?
Are you talking about the collage of avocado chairs?
Yeah, exactly. That one. That's the results. It's the image is generated. It's insanely accurate. Can you see it?
Big Data Month is a very innovative podcast. That's why I'm displaying this picture right now.
Oh, yes.
See it. Hope you can see it, well, at least now. Wow. So you're telling me that DALL-E was tasked with drawing both avocado and chair at the same time, and it came up with this?
For that image, I know there's a bunch of parameters, and I'm going to talk about it later, like physics, etc. Like, it knows how to layer things, and it knows materials. But it knows what an avocado is. It knows what a chair is. All kinds of chairs. Like, you can have armchairs, you can have normal chair, like a salon, whatever. And then it mixes them into different shapes, different types of chairs. It's insane. I think that's why we both have the same news.
Yeah.
This
I wanna buy it now. It looks like a legitimate art piece thing that you can buy somewhere.
From a design perspective, it's great.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my next point. Like, this AI can be super useful for, let's say, interior designers, or like random people that want inspiration for their houses. I'm gonna give you an example of a query that I saw. They told DALL-E, show me two white armchairs in a dark room with a painting of the Mona Lisa behind, and it generates like 20 or 25 images of different armchairs in different frames for the paintings. It's insane. It's crazy. Also for entrepreneurs that have an idea of a product that might come in handy, it can just tell it something super abstract, like I don't know, a bottle that has a brush underneath it, something like that, and it would come up with it in different designs. Also, and this one you might like it. It's about memes. If a meme lord has an idea of a situation, they can input it, like do the query on DALL-E, and it would return a illustration of it. That would be your own template, with your own idea and everything, and it will be unique with different designs again. And you can even specify the time. Is it day or night? You can specify the materials. It recognizes physics, like it would mimic the physics of a cushion, if it's a cushion, or if it would even mimic like the shades. It's crazy. It knows. Wait, I have a list here. It knows. It understands styles, motives, shapes, patterns, designs, and movements, and art movements. Even like that's the artistic part of it. Like, if you tell it, give me a car in a vintage or a Art Nouveau way, it would do it. It knows how to do. You see, like motives and patterns and stuff on. It's insanely accurate. Give it some research. Give it a search for it. Check the pictures. It's beautiful. It's great. I'm ecstatic right now.
That is inspiring, honestly. What do you think, Oran? Where can it be implemented besides creating a beautiful company that makes avocado chairs? Where would you think it's going to be useful? Like, how do you, as a business person, feel it can be implemented? Let your fantasy flow. I mean, we don't actually know how it works exactly and at what stage it is right now, but just give it some inspirational push. And where would you see it tomorrow? Like, I don't know.
I would love to see that kind of things in autonomous vehicles. I think because the problem right now is that you're having a system that has to drive for millions of kilometers, but in the end, your vehicle won't be able to drive by all the roads in the world and the ones that will be created and things like that. So that system can think about what a pedestrian look like and say, okay, I'm in a dust tempest, like okay, I've never been there, but I know what it looks like, and I know that if I encounter one in this path, I will stop. So it's the thing that that the system can be put in uncertain conditions and actually react on a predisposed way. Like it will do the right thing, but it will not really be trained in that settings. So it's kind of great. And also in healthcare, maybe like right now with the COVID, it's always evolving in different ways. Imagine if we could put the COVID genome, I guess, or the COVID like composition in that AI. Would it be capable of saying, okay, COVID could be in 10 different ways, and maybe that will happen. So, okay, let's prepare, let's test the vaccine, let's see how they will react to that. I mean, it's crazy to think about all the applications that could be used on that from every industry. I mean, you're actually putting eyes in a system and telling it what to do after. So you can create robots, you can create anything. It's crazy. I mean, it's a great invention, and they aren't really willing to commercialize it right now. They are saying, yeah, it's not the business model. That's not our things right now. So they aren't sharing all the model right now. It's just a little part. You can do a lot of things with it, but the day they will do it, it will be very interesting. Even in terms of police, like, can it be able to predict some random person doing a terrorist attack?
Yeah. Just to bounce back on what you said about autonomous cars, I don't know if you remember, guys, but we had the knowledge bite a couple of months ago about digital twin. And if you couple the technology of digital twin, because digital twin, it takes into account physics, but like it's the parameters that you enter to it, and it mimics whatever happens in real life. Like like let's say you have a plane, instead of doing crash tests with a plane, you do it with like on digital twin. Everything is digitalized, and everything has the like real life parameters. If you couple this with this technology, and you really give it like the whole knowledge of DALL-E, that can be insanely accurate. It would solve so many problems, and it can be adapted for cars, for planes, for trucks, for a lot of stuff. It can be crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could come up with some innovative idea, but so far I'm just thinking about avocado chairs. They just really
it's insane, right?
They got into my heart. It's pretty. I don't know.
It's pretty cool. And even, like, if you just tell somebody about the whole DALL-E, like you give it something and it generates an image, they would never imagine it would render it to this standard of quality. It's insane.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking of developing. Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
An example of, can you imagine a knight, like a little knight in figurines, a toy, like toy size, but made of spaghetti? I mean, it was weird, and they actually did that, and it was perfect, like the perfect representation of what it could be.
Exactly. I think even us could not imagine it. We know what spaghetti is, and we know the little toy and everything. There are two examples that really like to say with the absurd examples. There's one about a baby manatee, like the big animals, but a baby one, walking a dog, but it's wearing a suit, and it gave like when baby manatee in a suit walking a dog. You have this, and you have turtle giraffe. Like, it knows what a turtle is, it knows what a giraffe is, and instead of having something ugly, it's actually a beautiful animal. Honestly, it's like a turtle with a long neck, like a giraffe, and the spots. Pretty cool. But it's crazy how accurate it is. Insane.
Okay,
Yeah, like the crazy
DALL-E.
thing is that it makes something that has a lot of sense, like much more sense than what we can imagine. And I don't know how they did that. Because you can say,
Exactly.
okay, I want to see one tree and one like mug. Okay, I can do that, but combining both into one single object that has sense, I
Yeah,
don't know how you can do that.
because what we know what they are individualistically, but like because we know like a tree, we do that with like it's a tree. You know what it means. You know what it is. And then you have a mug. You know what you do with the mug. You drink coffee. But like because we have this whole background of using the object. We don't just see it as object. We see it as something useful that can be used like this. So we don't see how it can be useful to us. So we cannot imagine it. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, you have a machine that knows what those two things are, what are their physical limitations, and how they can be combined. So it comes from I don't know. Like it's even beating us at imagination. It's insane,
It's overwhelming. I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
Wow. Well, that's good news. I'm happy to hear. Thanks. Thanks, guys. It's really great. Yeah. Avocado chair. That's my new dream design so far. But no, that has great implementations other than creating very avant-garde-ish furniture. I bet one can even develop a game with assets fully generated by something like DALL-E. Patent pending, by the way. If you want to do it, at least contact us or feature our podcast somewhere. But no, that's great. That's amazing. I mean, I'm happy to hear that those
Just
things happen.
thinking about it, like if you're a comic book designer or you want to write, like you don't have the artist, like you don't know you know how to write, but you don't know how to draw the bubbles, like the whole thing, the strips. You would just tell it to generate you the images, and then you just print them and you put your text. Like it's infinite, like in terms of users to human beings, it's infinite, and this in total line with the mission of OpenAI. So it's just great for us. It's gonna make life so easy, I think, on a lot of people.
That's amazing. Yeah. It's overwhelming also. But if you have something else to add, don't hesitate. Otherwise, we can pass to our conclusive part of this podcast, to the Job of the Month podcast, where we're gonna quickly overview a small job. I don't know if you're done with DALL-E, because we can go talking hours and hours about this great
All
technology. I
day,
bet,
Yeah.
because
all
there's
day.
many examples, many interesting ways we can think of putting into use. But well,
Yeah,
go ahead and Google it up if you want. Also, all the illustrations, we can't show you all of them right now, but they're worth seeing, I bet.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we can so far pass to the job of the month section. It's gonna be a short one, because this month's job of the month is data consultant. Have you heard of this job? What do you think of it when I say data consultant? Just close your eyes, imagine a data consultant, and tell me, what do you think he or she does on a daily basis? What is it? Why is this person having money? What do you think is the secret thing that they do behind their closed doors in their cabinets?
I have a story maybe that can help. When I was in
Please.
finance, in asset management, we actually had a lot of data that we never used because no one knew how to use it. And, there's only like old people in finance. So it was very difficult. And the project was to actually use the data to not be forced to redo the data. Like when you have a contract, you have to write it, and actually all contracts look the same. So you could just use the precedent, like the previous data, and send it. It would be perfect. But no one did that. So I think a data consultant could be the one seeing data as a real resource other than like a wasteful resource, and turn it into insight and turn it into value for a company, because the company is not trained or doesn't have the culture or doesn't have the skills to do it. I think that's, in my opinion, that would be that. Yes.
Yeah, that certainly has something to do with data consultants in general, their job. That's great.
Yeah,
What do you
but
think, Moad? What do they do, those people?
I think that it falls under the umbrella of digital transformation as a discipline in general. It helps. I think they like digital transformation in general. You just go to a company and you help them implement something new. And I think a data consultant is somebody that does it, but from the perspective of data. And it would be not only infrastructure, not only the technology. It would be also, like Oran said, like the people. Try to see how people will accept the change and how they will integrate the change and accept the new ways to do things, but for data only. So I think it would be somebody who would help implement a new system for data collection, for data cleaning, and how to take advantage of the data for like make it more I don't know, approachable to the old people from finance.
Yeah. For example, that's a great way of showing how it's done. So yeah, in general, yeah, right now I'm going to be speaking about data consultants, but from the point of a Parisian student. So I'm going to be concentrating on the positions of data consultant interns in Paris or Île-de-France region, which is around Paris and Paris metro area, and I'm gonna tell you a very aggregate, a very summarized picture from what I've got from reviewing many different options and offers of data consultant positions. So, a data consultant is a very vast field. Well, being a data consultant is something undefined, because a company can be even specialized in a sector. For example, I'm a data consultant in finance, as for example Oran mentioned before, because I not only have to have skills in data, but also in finance, because people don't necessarily have them, and just knowing the numbers, algorithms is not enough to understand how you can apply them to a very specific finance-centered question or problem. So yeah, this is the first point. Data consultants are usually specialized on something. If not the whole company specialized, that then inside of the company they have different people specialized for, let's say, e-commerce or factories, like real life industrial factories, or finance or something else. So yeah, it is a specialized job. So there's not one unique profile of a data consultant that would fit all the gloves. You have to have some knowledge in some field at some point. At least you have to be striving to develop a niche in yourself, because data science and data consultancy is a complicated field. You can't be good at all of it all at the same time, or unless you are maybe an alumni of MSc Big Data, Business Analytics, and ESCP, like us. Yes, but otherwise you would have to choose a field to specialize in. But as an intern, you're not really required to know very well the field. Everybody understands that we're young and we're young graduates, and yeah, but still having some interest in one field is of course a bonus, and that's why we don't have a set list of requirements. Like from the technical point of view, some jobs demand very precise technical knowledge. For example, the data consultants who offer their services to companies, to industrial companies who, I don't know, produce some complicated product, and they have to have their machines improved using data science. Well, for that, of course, you're going to have to not only be able to perfectly master the tools, but also know physics and the mechanics of all of that. So there are jobs that demand lots of technical skills. There are some jobs who don't even need those technical skills that much. There are some data consultants who do well with Excel, some rudimentary knowledge of Scala or R, and they're good with that because they have special people who are dedicated for data science, and data consultants there, they only need to see the problem and apprehend it from the business point of view. So as you can see, it is very not defined and set in stone. So yeah, data consultant can be very different depending from one case to another. Do you think it's an important job, like, per se, or do we just need it right now where the world and business is in a transitional state between not using the data and using the data? Maybe it's a job that's going to be rudimentary in like 10 years time or even shorter. What do you think?
I think it's so necessary. Go ahead, Moad. I got you.
No, please, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Owen, please.
I forgot what I was saying. I think, no, it's a very important job to be a data consultant. And I was at the recruiting week last week at the SCP, and there were a lot of consulting company, and we asked questions about data consultant and things like that. For example, for Capgemini Invent, that is specialized in AI, data, digital transformation. And they were actually saying, I asked which industry they work with the most, and they said, everyone, like automobile, healthcare, industries, finance, everyone. So they aren't very specialized, but the key skills I guess you have to have if you want to be a data consultant is to be willing to learn and to be willing to get dirty in the sector. Like if you have a mission of 6 months in I don't know, in healthcare, you have to understand what's the project, how it's working, and really go deep in the understanding because you can't work only with the data. You can't just say, okay, I have 10 variables, let's do a regression. It's not, it has no value. You have to really understand the thing. So, of course, you can be an expert at an entry level job, but be willing to learn so much about so many different subjects, and maybe it will be for one-time mission, maybe it will be for a 2-year mission, maybe you will never use it again, but you have to be willing to have that willingness to learn, I guess.
Yeah, I bet it's a great skill to have, especially now when it's all in the early stages, relatively. But yeah.
Yeah, especially because people aren't really trained to do that. Like we are 25 years old and the companies are mostly filled by people like that are 40 plus, and they aren't trained with that. They didn't grow up with that. So you have to be willing to explain something very complicated in a very easy way and to bring everyone on your mission because they won't see it as valuable. They will say, oh, I did that for 20 years, you know, nothing. I don't care about going like faster. They don't care. So you have to be really, really, really motivated because the
Yeah.
people in front of you won't maybe see what you're doing as valuable. So
that's the price you pay for being in an innovative industry, and bringing innovation is never easy.
You have to convince everyone of logical things. It's crazy. So be prepared.
Well, bringing the light was never easy. What do you think? Well, let's finish on the more positive note. What do you think of a salary of a data consultant intern in Paris in 2021? What are your wildest dreams and estimates concerning this
you
number?
Just said positive note, so I think it's gonna be
maybe I foreshadowed a little bit. Yes. So what do you think? Still positive can have
for an intern.
Yes, for an intern, a monthly salary, I guess not taking into account all the taxes, but interns don't really pay much anyways. But still, as an intern, a month, what was the price tag you would see for a data consultant position?
Oh, I would say at least 2,000 a month, at least as an intern, because you said it's good. I know it's around 1,200, depending on the profile. But
I like your thinking, what? I want you to be the next CEO of I don't know, some data consultants company, but I like your thinking.
Interns get paid more than people working full time.
Yeah, that would be great. No. What do you think, Oran? Is this optimism of Moad shared by you or?
Yeah, I think that's very optimistic because the wage in France for an internship is like at the minimum 500 per month. Sorry, and I know that when you're like back to five, like when you're at the master degree level, you can expect like 1,000 and things like that, but it's already a lot. And I guess in data consulting, maybe you can ask for 1,500 or in this range, I guess. But 2K, I think it's a
2K,
lot.
it's a lot. It is a lot. Okay. Let's try and play around with the wages here. Try to influence them to change them. 2,000. 2,000 is too low. Okay, recruiters.
Yeah, we're not taking us out of our home for 2,000, please.
Nah.
Yeah. It's not even the price of my morning coffee or anything. No, but being in all seriousness, I like your ways of thinking. I like both of your ways of thinking because the one of Moad is very optimistic and I want to strive to that. But the one of Oran is more realistic, honestly, and you're I think the closest person in the history of this podcast to get the range of salaries. I mean, you're pretty spot on. Of course, it depends all on your profile, the company, everything, but it starts somewhere at around 1,000, even I would say 1,200. So it already starts high, I would say. For as Oran said, the minimum salary is around 500 something, between 500 and 600. But yeah, it's way higher than that. And yeah, it goes up to 2000. I've seen cases like this. It's mostly either big companies or like very innovative companies, but yes, it's not something out of ordinary or like impossible to have a 2k salary. Yet still you're gonna have to work for it very hard, but still, no, it's the news are great for those who want to specialize in this industry, because the salary range is pretty good even for an intern. Of course, the requirements are good too, as Oran said. Back plus 5 people are paid more and are demanded more in this field. So it's difficult to get a job if you're not having a master's right now, or, well, it's not impossible, but it certainly gives you a certain push in this. But yeah, the salary range is pretty optimistic, and I dare say that even after your internship, when you're on the full contract, you still get paid well. But it also demands work, of course. It's a very intense industry where you have to be on spot, keeping an eye on all the changes in the industry, keeping an eye on the competition, and being the best of yourself every day. So yeah, it's an industry that embodies the work hard, play hard philosophy that I don't like hearing from other people because it sounds weird. But well, but yeah, that's the job of the month. And if you're interested, go ahead and and do your own research. I bet it changes every single day and every single year, of course. So yeah, but so far is that. I don't know if you're interested, if you think that this is a good career choice or not, or is it suitable for you, like if you would imagine yourself in this position or no. I don't know. Not really?
No.
Honestly, I know it's weird coming from somebody that studies big data, but I don't want to be labeled the data guy in my company, if you know what I mean. I don't want to fall in that trap. Sorry?
What, the data guy? Yeah, it's
possible, you know the guy. Oh, the data guy. No,
yeah,
like,
the one who has a T-shirt with data here.
Data, no, like this. Big tab, data guy.
I know him. Yes.
No, for real. Like it's a trap I don't want to fall into. I don't want to have my life. I'm not saying that it's only about computers and stuff like that. No, but I don't want to have the label data on me. I joined this program because I was thinking about leveraging marketing and strategy using data instead of just being a data consultant and working with data for people. I want to be the one creating value with data, and I think that from the moment you have a background, let's say in business or finance for you on, and you get this new dimension which is data oriented, it's a big plus that you're going to use to leverage, and that's something that people should start doing. You should be aware of how data works and how to leverage it and how to take advantage of it, no matter where you come from. And that's exactly my mindset, my perspective regarding my.
I understand what you want to say. Don't worry, we're gonna remember you as Mod, the great guy from Big Data Club. So there's
nice.
not worries in that. But no, you're saying a very, very interesting thought. Yeah, concentrating yourself too much is maybe forgetting the rest is never a good thing, I suppose.
Exactly.
What about you? Yes.
I'm sorry. I was saying there are some people that are considering strictly that because they are in love with data, with numbers. We know some. We have some in our cohort, but it's definitely not subjectively. If I had to answer, I would say, not really. That would be a smart move given my background in business, honestly.
Okay. As far as I saw, Johan, you were not as enthusiastic either in this proposition.
However, one last point, I would.
I'm sorry.
One last point, I wouldn't say no to the 2K a month as an intern, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We noted that. Yes, that's great.
Yeah. Is it the minimum 2K, like, or
2K? I might come in half, like part-time.
Yeah. 2 hours a day, maybe. Yeah, that.
Yes. No, for my part, I'm just like everything he said, I share the same feeling. I don't want to be like the data person. I saw that in finance. They were like the data guy. We call them like the count guy and like the quantitative guys. We never talked to them. They didn't even do like investment.
It sounds like they're closed somewhere in a dark room all the day, It's like, the quant guys. We've never talked to them.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I would have thought that, they would do some investment strategy, like very like finance things, but they said, oh no, no one understands what we're doing. So we are just in our office and we're doing our own projects, like not related to the firm at all, but And I was like, wow, like your boss must be super cool. And they were like, oh no, he's just really not skilled enough. We are better than him, so he doesn't understand what we are saying. I was like, okay, wow, that's why
What a
we
black
never saw
box in the company. It's like, what is this department? I don't know. We're giving them money. They're just there all day in their room. I don't know.
It was
Bet they're doing
exactly
something cool. Yeah.
no, they were doing
Wow.
nothing. And it's like, wow, like we are actually paying you, and the salary in finance are very high, especially for quantitative people. And they were working on their own projects. So I understood that one, there is not enough people trained in that. Two, they aren't really used at their potential. Like we're losing so much potential on that. So I don't want to be that person, like doing work that no one cares about. And it's sad because it's a very interesting job, but I think companies are not trained enough to be like really successful in data and to do like really interesting things. I mean, we all want to do algorithms. We all want to do like neural network and really dig deep in the algorithm. And no, for now they're just like at understanding what data they have to clean it, and it's not the funny part. So
Oh yeah.
I think I'll go like in a tech company where you don't have to explain the logic of data, where you don't have to say, "Oh, we really should do that," and people will say, "Yeah, never mind." They will actually say, "Okay, let's go, let's do that," and work on the project in itself because you want to improve one part or another, and not just clean data all day. So unfortunately, like it's one of the best fields, but we aren't at the stage to
Yeah.
make it very interesting for young people.
Well,
Maybe
I think
in
yeah.
5 years.
I think it comes from the fact that there's not enough people, especially in the higher positions, that are aware of data.
Yeah.
So they're just paying a department that they hope is gonna do something for them, and that's it. Just just a huge money sinkhole so far, but it has to be managed a little better. Well, let's hope that in the nearest future it's gonna be improving at a rapid
Yeah. What
pace.
about you?
Yeah, what do you
Well,
think?
I have a mitigated response on that. I'm not saying no, because if you're in a company of data consultancy, you're not the data guy because everybody's the data guy there. So you're just a guy. So
That's true.
I mean, it depends. For me, it's a great also opportunity to discover many different industries at the same time. You're not only bringing data to the industry, but you're also understanding what industry is about, and maybe who knows, in some year you're gonna quit your job to like specialize in that industry, and I don't know, grow your new startup that's gonna solve some real problem that you've seen during your experience. But then it all depends on the company and on the people who you work with, and on the approach you have with your team, on how you approach problems. Difficult for me to say because I've never worked in one, but I'm open to it. Yeah, definitely it's a possible way of evolution after this master's. So
You should apply to Capgemini Invents. They were really like
Yeah.
looking for ESCP students, and they are working in very interesting data fields and various
Yeah,
industries.
indeed.
You should apply.
Anyway,
Yeah, they have they have a
No.
matricial approach, like a matrix where you have like a lot of functions and you get to see all of them. You have departments, etc. But you always intervene from a data perspective, because the objective of Capgemini Invent is to accompany people in entering the industry 4.0 world. You know what I mean? Like there's the human aspect, there's the infrastructure, the tech aspect. So it can be very interesting if your ambition to go that way. Can be
What
really
do
cool.
you think, our dear listener or viewer? Would you like to to come into this position? Why not? Why yes? We're open to any kind of feedback from you. But yeah, it is a question open to discussion, and certainly it's not an easy question to answer. But I'm glad to know that the industry is developing in general. It's good for everyone, not only us and data people, but everyone, I suppose. So yeah, and that is it for today. We're almost at a 1 hour recording time, and I would like to thank, before we finish, I would like to thank my dear guests again, Oran Dibeu and Mouad Benerish. I hope I didn't butcher your names or anything.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
I'm sorry, Moed. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I love you. Anyways,
No, you got it.
My name is Alexander Nino, and we're the members of Big Data Club, and we're presenting you the Big Data Month episode for January this time. Stay in tune for more episodes, and tell us what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, and that way you don't miss a single episode that comes out. Thank you again, guys, for being here. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a great upcoming month.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.